Number one, to be directly aware of change. Anicca. Anicca means not same, always changing, always fluctuating. To be aware that everything arises and passes away. An experience comes, it goes. Pleasant things come, they disband. Unpleasant things come, they disband. The more clearly you see this, natural equanimity starts to come. You start checking, what is the screen on which this movie is projected? The movie of this life. If something is changing, there must be something unchanging as well. Change only makes sense on some unchanging background. The first way to access equanimity is by being conscious of the changing nature of life. Everything is vibrating, everything is changing. The more aware you are of this, equanimity naturally comes. You don't get so hung up. For example, you're going in a bus and it's very, very tight. It's a lot of people in there. Your friend says, hey, don't worry. Our stop is only 2 stops away. So even though it's so unpleasant, you don't get bogged down by it. It's just 5-10 minutes away. It's fine. We can manage. You know it's going to change soon. Your mind is balanced. But suppose you were told you have to stay in this bus for a month. You're going to get so upset. Oh, this bus for a month, because it seems it's going to last forever. So the more you understand change, the less you're shaken up by the unpleasant or the pleasant experiences of life. This too shall pass becomes a very real thing for us. The second way to access equanimity is to check who is having this experience. I am. And who is the I am? So in other words, you go backward to the source of your attention, the source of your own experience. Who is aware of being aware? You start discovering a natural silence. You discover a solid ground of being. This is another way to access equanimity. A third way to access equanimity is to bring up the thought, the perception, that everything and everyone is God. By God, I mean G-O-D, grand overall design. It's all part of that one design. So when everyone and everything is God, when you get what you want, that's nice. When you don't get what you want, that's also nice. Man chahi ho to acha, na ho to aur bhi acha. In this way, when everything is God, what can you criticize? What can you resist? Another way to find balance of mind. Everyone I meet is God in disguise. Everything is God in disguise. I remember going to an airport once, and I just decided that I'm going to practice gratitude. From the moment I get out from the car till the moment I get onto my flight, I will continuously practice gratitude. And there was a long line, and I'm so thankful. I'm in the airport, and not getting irritated by the line. People are helping out, people are serving. I'm walking towards the aeroplane, and I notice the walls. The airports are big places with big pillars, big walls. And I say, wow, these walls are holding up this big ceiling. Thank you, walls, for holding up the big ceiling. And I had a feeling that the walls were talking back to me saying, wow, 1,000 people go through this room every day. Nobody says thank you to us. When you start seeing everything as God, your mind is balanced. The crowds in the airport didn't faze me. Nothing irritated me. And I was walking to the aeroplane. I kept saying, what a beautiful aeroplane. Thank you, aeroplane. You're such a wonderful aeroplane. Treating the aeroplane also like it's God. Something funny happened that day. As I got onto the plane, the air hostess smiled and said, sir, you've been upgraded. Please come and sit in business class. So this is not a coincidence. When you see everything as God, then everything treats you as God. You get the best experience of everything, even if it's unpleasant. The simplest thing gives you great joy. And the fourth way to practice this is to wish happiness for all. May all be happy, may all be free from suffering. The sense of wishing love and happiness for all. When you wish love and happiness for all, again your mind comes into balance. You realize that you're not the only one in the world who's struggling or who's in trouble. There are lots of people in the world who are struggling, and the struggle are often much harder, much more difficult than yours. When you understand you're not the only one with challenges, you stop complaining so much. You have a better perspective. I'm sure you know people that you've met who had a difficult childhood or had gone through poverty or gone through even war. You find they don't complain much. Because they've seen how bad it can get, they don't complain so easily. Their mind remains balanced. So here are 4 ways to practice. Impermanence, everything changes. Direct experience. Who is aware of this? What is the source of this? Coming in that direction. This is another powerful way. All is God, all is source, all is one. This is another way. And wishing happiness for all, recognizing that we're all in this together. And may all be happy, may I be happy, you be happy. This sense of karuna, maitri, mudita and upeksha, the 4 Brahma Viharas, is another powerful way to practice equanimity. So like this, we start having the highest happiness in the world. Equanimity is the greatest joy, the greatest happiness in the world. It's balanced happiness, unshakable peace.